Hey there, it's Greg again. Okay, next step. After we had got all of the cases primed and taken care of, they're all sitting here in the trays. And now I'm moving on to the next step, which is to add the powder charge. Now for these, I'm using Hodgdon's H335, 25 grains per case. I've got my little home geek scale set up here. If you've done any looking around online, you guys will find out these cheap little scales really work good. I test this one often. I also have another digital scale that I test it against. I'll be honest, I've never used the ladder scales, the ladder type scales. The one that came with the Lee turret kit, the thing was kind of a piece of junk, to be honest. I never used it. In fact, most of the stuff that comes in the kit is, I've moved on. The only thing I still use in the kit is the actual press itself. I don't use any of the other accessories. So yeah, so basically what I do, I dial in. I'll go ahead and raise this up a little bit and turn it because I'm using a get my ugly mug out of the frame there. So you can see this is actually a Lyman powder measure, and this stand, there's a gentleman online, goes by Treetop Flyer. He builds these custom stands that go on these Lee turret presses. They fasten around the base here. You'll see how it has the plate. They fasten around the plate, and they're adjustable at height and the angle. And you can see I've got this one set up to drop right over my powder drop die here. So I've already dialed that in to drop 25 grains. That's a process in itself that I could go over in another video. But this is basically just to show you the next step in the process. So basically, what I do is I will first check the powder drop. I'll turn on my scale, set it, wait till it zeros, put a case on it, tear it out so it's back to zero. So now I'm only going to be weighing the powder charge, nothing else. And I do these one at a time. Drop the powder. Now I'll check it on the scale, make sure I'm within my range. This one is 25.08. Now I'm shooting for 25. About 25 to 25.2, and this one's 25.8, or it's actually adjusted 25.1, which is perfect. So I'll add that to my tray. Usually I'll test about every 10 cases. I'll weigh one to make sure I'm still in the right range. So let's so again, the process when I am weighing them, trying to keep myself out of the picture here. Let's do that a little bit. Yeah, you can tell I'm no YouTube star or anything. Just a guy in my shop here, or in my office. So we'll tear that back to zero. Again, we're gonna tear it to zero to get so the case is zeroed out. So we just want the weight of the powder. Gonna go drop another one. Check that one on the scale. That one's a little high, 25.14, but that's still between our 25 and 25.2. So I'll go ahead and run with that. And again, I'll do this about every 10th case. I'll stop, weigh one, make sure my powder drop is still, still working. And then once I'm done with 50, I'll take my little flashlights. These are a great little tool to have, little flashlight. And I will manually check every single case to make sure that it's got the right amount of powder in it and that I didn't miss any. Pretty hard to, the way I'm doing it, pretty hard to miss anything. But that's, to me, the powder is the most, it's the most, I guess the thing you want to be the most careful with, because a mistake with the powder can really get ugly. You can get hurt. I've been fortunate in the 2 years I've been reloading. I haven't had any explosions. No double charges, no squib loads. Because I'm very careful. In the beginning, when I first started with the Lee powder measure, you had to trust that thing to drop the powder. You couldn't see it unless you physically took the case out and looked down in it. And you'll see guys will come up with all kinds of crazy things. They'll put cameras in there, and a camera where they can see it on their computer. And so I got away from that because I just wasn't comfortable not being able to see the powder go in the case. I then moved on to a RCBS powder checking die that has a little pin that goes up and down, and you set that. And when you turn the case over and drop that RCBS little plunger in it, it will show you how much powder is in it, and you mark it with a little O-ring. So I was doing that for a while as well, to check the powder. But it's still, it gave me a little bit of peace of mind. But eventually I got away from that too, and now I go full single case, one by one, check them visually to make sure every single case has, has powder in it. I'm very careful about checking the weights, checking my powder measure every 10th shell or so, 10th case or so, to make sure I'm still on target, still on the right, right grain amount for the load. So to me, that's the most critical thing is the powder, because if you make a mistake with that, you can really get in trouble in a hurry. So I take all the time I need. Again, I'm not a super, I don't shoot a ton every week. I'm not in a big hurry when I'm reloading. So to me, I don't mind the slower pace. It gives me, I can kill a couple hours, in the evening, listening to some music. I find it very relaxing. But anyway, I'll go ahead and move on to the next video. So I'm going to finish setting, putting all the powder charges in these, and then from that point we'll move on to seating the bullets, and then doing the crimp is going to be our last steps. All right, we'll see you in the next video.